Stimulator. This has a couple of different materials in it. Not a ton of real estate on the hook. We're going to be very careful with our placement to make sure we don't crowd ourselves too close to that eye and run out of space. Let's get started. I'm going to be using orange thread today. I like the orange. It's a stimulator. You can see the orange on the front of the fly in the end, the orange dubbing we're going to get to. You can use other colors too if you want. If you got tan, go ahead and use that. Not that you need my permission. Okay, I'm going to wrap this towards the back end of the hook. Back here, we're going to start with a little bit of deer hair. So I'm going to just take a small clump of this, not too much, and cut that right off. Pull out any loose ones. I'm going to use my hair stacker to try to even up those tips. Bang this on the table. That should even out those tips for us. And now when I grab them, I've got an even tail, like that. I'm going to now trim the front of this because I don't want all that extra. Come back in, match it up to where the length I need. First wrap just around the material. That should help keep it on the top of the hook. Looks like that fell off. Try that again. Now the second wrap around the hook. I'm going to try to get that locked down in tight there. But that, I'm kind of going loose because I don't want these deer hair pieces to flare too much. We will trap them under the dubbing in a minute. But if we don't have them sticking up, that's better too. Okay, next we're going to put in some wire, this copper wire. Just get that tied in place. Now we're going to take this brown hackle and get that tied into the back end. Just kind of flare it out a little bit. That way when you wrap it, it's going to stick out the way you want it to. And again, if you get those pieces sticking up, because I didn't trim those off before I tied it in, so trim them off there. Bring this back to the back of the hook again. Now we're going to go with some yellow dubbing. I want just a little bit more on there, I think. Okay. Now with that in place, I'm going to bring this hackle forward. Tie that off. You see how you want to be careful because I'm starting to crowd the hook a little bit more than I want. We'll work with that though. Now bring this copper wire in reverse and kind of wiggle it around so you're not crushing those hackle fibers. This will just help prevent it from falling apart too easy when you catch that fish of a lifetime. And you are going to catch that fish of a lifetime. Okay, put that in place. A couple of wraps. Then you can just kind of twist this off. Slippery. There we go. Okay, now here I'm going to just try to pull some of these materials back. They're not cooperating too much, but that's okay. So we're going to go back to the deer hair. So again, I'm going to take another clump of this. This time a little bit more than last time. So probably about that much there. Snip that off. Put that in my deer hair stacker again. Pound it on the desk. Even up those ends. A couple longer ones, I'm just going to pull those out. And now we're going to bring this over the top like this. I'm going to see how long it is, check it up front, and now I'm going to trim that because I don't want too much up front where I'm trying to tie everything in. So now we're going to bring this in here. Let me get my stacker out of the way. One wrap around the deer hair first to try to control it. Bring it down. Get that on the hook now. Okay, before I go any farther, what I'm going to do is get the grizzly hackle. This time I'm going to pull off some of those at the end just to expose the stem. Get that locked in. And now I'm going to try to get and tie that deer hair down a little bit better. Kind of building a little bit of a head here. And now I'm going to take the orange dubbing. You can see how the orange thread now has already started to build out that color. We'll take the orange dubbing. Put a little bit of that on here. I don't like that. That looks like too much. So I'm going to try bringing up another clump of it. Because again, you don't have a lot of room up here. So you got to be careful on how much material you're throwing on. So we'll wrap that orange dubbing to the front. Then we take that grizzly hackle. You're not going to do too many passes. You don't have a lot of room here. And then tie that in place. Snip off the extra. I'm going to pull those fibers back and just build a little bit of a head up front here. And finish it off with a whip finish. Now on something like this, I would definitely use a little super glue because I don't want my dry fly falling apart on me. So throw a little super glue on that, and there you have the yellow stimulator. I'll go catch that fish of a lifetime.